Hello and welcome to another CAD how-to video. In this video, I'm gonna go a little deeper into configurations and specifically how we can use configurations to sort of change global variables. I've done a video in the past on global variables and using those to sort of change the dimensions of the part. Uh, and now we'll sort of talk about how to store some of those changes across various configurations. And like usual, we'll do it pretty simply and hopefully relatively quickly. So I'm going to create a new part. Always the sort of the basis for this kind of stuff. I am going to go ahead and on the top plane, just extrude a quick rectangle. So we'll extrude a rectangle. And actually, I'm going to leave that alone for now. And I want to head up to my SolidWorks menu and tools, and I want to edit my equations because I want to create some global variables. So I'm going to call this one the height of the rectangle, height. And that will be, let's say, 2 inches for the first configuration, just to give us a base height and width. And we'll call that 4 inches for now. So I've got my two global variables, 2 inches and 4 inches height and width. I'll click OK. Now I'm going to edit my sketch sort of to add those in because I didn't actually dimension this thing. So we will set this equal to, and when we're using global variables, remember, we can either grab them from the drop down. So just grabbed it from the drop down there, hit enter, and it automatically brings in that 2 inches. We get the equation symbol here to show that it's linked. The other option, of course, is to manually type it in. So if I type it in, remember, we need quotation marks around it in order for SolidWorks to recognize that we want that variable. But if I use the quotation marks to type in width, I get the result as sort of the drop down. So there is our dimensions. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of other configurations. So first, let me rename this configuration to 2x4. To keep things straight. Let's add a configuration and let's do 1 inch by 8 inches. We'll do for this configuration, and we will add a configuration. Let's do 3 by 12, something big enough so that we can see a difference as this thing changes. So we've now got our three different configurations here. The way that we need to set this up so that we can change our global variables, because global variables are sort of by definition global. So I'm active right now in the 3 by 12 configuration. If I were to head back over here to my feature manager and equations, right click and manage, if I change these values, and again, up here it tells me I'm in edit equations for this configuration, right? Change it by 3 by 12. Delete 12. Okay. My model updated. Obviously, it got a lot bigger. If I switch configurations back to my 2 by 4 or my 1 by 8, that sort of equation manager, edit variables for this equation is a little misleading in that it's editing of the global variable. So every configuration is affected. So we can't really do that if we want these to actually have different dimensions. So what we need in this instance is a design table. And design tables are uh, really just an Excel spreadsheet with some specific column names that tells SolidWorks where to go to change a given value. And there are a whole lot of different options for what those variables are. Too many to go into in even a series of videos, really. Maybe in the future we'll get a little more advanced with some more advanced things that we can put in a design table. But for now, how can we get those variables to update between configurations? First, we need a design table. So again, up in my SolidWorks menu up at the top, I'm going to insert, I'm sorry, rather, yes, insert. We want to come down to tables and Excel design table. Right? We're going to go ahead and allow it to auto create. We can also separately do this in Excel itself as a, sort of separate exercise. That would be the from file. So if I had one ready to go, I could browse to it. And but I'm going to allow SolidWorks to sort of auto create. I could also do a blank one, and that means that I would have to know all of the fields and things to add the fields and things to sort of create it from scratch. But I'm going to let it auto create, auto populate. I'm going to click OK, and I get an Excel sheet. So it's already got the names of my configurations here. Okay. It's got the description from the description field of the configurations. And by default, I didn't change these. Notice that this still says default. When you create a configuration, the description by default matches the name. So this originally was named the default configuration. So the description is default. We've got a color value here. They're all the same because I didn't change the colors. And then to sort of bring in other things that this design table can affect, we basically just need to add column headers and values so that SolidWorks knows what we want it to change. These are where the sort of the SolidWorks syntax would go for our column headers, and then the values would go here. So for for equations or global variables specifically, we're going to have a very specific syntax we need, and they all start with a $sign. The $sign, and in this case, it is value. We want to change the value, so we use an @ symbol. And first up is going to be height at equations. So that tells it to look for the height variable in, the equations in the model. I'm going to hit enter. Don't worry about the fact that it's underlined. This syntax sort of tells Excel that what we really wanted was an email link, which it's not, right? Because there's an @ in there, so Excel kind of assumes. SolidWorks doesn't care. SolidWorks just cares that we got the right text in there. So ignore the fact that it's highlighted and it's now a link. But our height is 2 for that configuration, so we just go ahead and we put the values in. So our height is 1 and our height is 3. And I'm going to do the same thing. I can add the width. Again, everything starts with a $sign. We want to grab the value of, so we use an @ width at equations. So grab the value of, change the value of the width variable in the equations, and we've got 4, we've got 8, and we've got 12. Enter. And I'm going to save this and go ahead and close it. So if I now click through my configurations, the X tells it that these configurations are pulling something. The X indicates it's pulling something from that design table. And as I click through, you can see now it's updating the widths, except did I misname one? Let's go ahead and edit and see what happened, because apparently my 2x4 is not changing. So let's open this design table. We want to edit table. There we go. 2x4, 1x8, 3x12. That should be working. Save again, just in case. Why are we not updating? And if I come over here and verify my equations, let's see, manage equations. So 2x4 is 2x4, 1x8 is 1x8, 3x12. Notice the values are changing. There we go. Now we're changing. So what now if we, there we go. We just needed to force an update. So a really quick video, but that sort of gives you an idea of how these can be changed. And again, the value, I'm going to go ahead and edit this design table again, edit, so that you can see we there's a ton of different options that we can grab for headers. As far as what types of variables this table can control. Again, color's already in here, right? We can change the color of the model. And for now, I mean, for our purposes, one of the biggest benefits is we can change the value of those variables so that we can have different dimensions, different features in different configurations. And again, looking at this, every time we want to change an actual global variable, it's $sign value at the variable name at equations, and it always maintains that same format. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to go ahead and add a configuration. Let's call this one. Oh, I don't know. What did we do? We did 2x4. Let's make it really obvious and do like 8x4. So it'll sort of invert. We'll be taller than we are long. So we've got that now. We don't have anything here xed, right? So I am going to edit the table, right? It wants me to add rows and columns now, sort of by default. When I open the table, this automatically pops up. I need to add this configuration, click OK, and it should pop back up. It's got the new configuration in here now. Now, I created it when I had 3x12 selected, so I already have a value populated here. We can go ahead and change that at will, right? This is going to be 8. This is going to be, what did I say? 4. It's right there in the name. There we go. Save this guy. And we now have our 8x4. So if I click through, notice the Excel popped up by our 8x4, our newest configuration, the Excel little X, so that we know something in that configuration is now controlled by the design table. So this has, again, been a quick overview on how that design table can be. This was sort of a simple example, but hopefully helpful as far as how to get up and running with one fairly quickly. And hopefully it gives you an idea of sort of the power that we have in controlling various aspects of our configurations. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in a future how-to video.